This idea that we're supposed to follow our passions is a little absurd to me. I don't know about you, but most of the time I don't know what my passions are. I don't even know if I have a passion. I think I get up and I do my thing, and that's about it. I think we need to stop putting such a stress on coming up with something that is unique. I think a lot of this is derived from there's this very simple logic that happens. It's very much driven in a economic logic that every human being, it's actually probably even older than that, but every human being has a a sort of purpose in life in that we're all independent, atomistic individuals, and then from there we sort of enlighten ourselves. And all of this is a really long history during the Enlightenment period where people are thinking about how can we do better as individuals. And so instead of having our passion or our goals or the higher thing of being God, they started to think about, well, individuals should have those particular things. I think, in my sense, I think we need to move away from that and recognize this thing, this sort of will to live, or the passion that we might have. We might just simply not have it. And it might be very flighty, and that is okay. I think that is human nature. And one of the things that I ponder about and I think about is whenever I work with others, I'm kind of really weird because I am very much, I think I'm probably on some sort of scale of some sort. But once I start with something, um, I don't stop with it. I sort of persist and persist and persist far more than the average person, like way more. Um, and I look at whenever I interact at various different points in my life, most people will not go that far with something. They kind of quit or stop, or they after 6 months of doing something that's a long time, they stop. Or if you're really long, you do it for 2 years and then you stop. But most people are really, really, they just are. Yeah, I see. The way that I say it with my family, it's just fighting. Right? They move around, they do different things, and I think we need to recognize this that it it's it's a part of life to change things. It's a part of life to you might be sort of rigorously going as fast as you can, huffy puffy towards something um, for a bit, but you realize you don't like it, and then you need to take a step back. Um, I think all of these things are totally normal, and it doesn't mean that you're wrong. It just means that you're being human. And I think about this as like a lot of this is driven by this idea that we have a passion, that we sort of are very individualistic and we sort of move forward, whatever that is. And like I told you, is totally natural to not have any of those things and just kind of enjoy enjoy life temporarily for the moment that you have. Do things that you like for the moment, and then you might like it for 6 months, great. You might like it for a year. that is fantastic. But, you know, don't expect that you need to be so passionately focused on something. And if you are, that's fantastic. Go after that, but you don't need to have it. Most people are totally normal when they kind of go from one thing to the next and they're flighty. This idea of passion, I don't know. I don't really believe in it. All right, take care and have a wonderful day.
That's what I want to add. Actually, I'm going to come back to this, and I want to add something. And there's this notion that you have to do something in your life that I apologize, that there is some sort of thing that you should do. And if you don't accomplish that thing in your life, then you're somehow not good. And this is a very constant theme within modern culture that you have to be you name it, whatever that particular thing is, you have to be the best in the particular fields, and you have to be known for that particular thing in the field. And it doesn't matter what it is, right? In whatever category you pick, you have to be the best and move up. And ultimately, I want you to sort of think how just that you're happy with who you are right now. And if you don't want to do anything, that is perfectly fine. I think you should spend some time not doing something. If you want to work on something, that's fine as well, right? Like you can do those things. I want you to sort of think about how you are, what is it in your life that you're missing out, and just do that particular thing, right? Like I think we get so caught up every day in having to do certain things. And instead, what if instead of having to do something, and I was talking to somebody that was close to me recently who is somewhat going through retirement, and all they're doing is taking a step back. They're still, the manager, all they did is take a step back. That's it. Not go in as much, not be as responsible, those kind of things. Sometimes that's all you need to do is to take that pressure off yourself and figure out ways that you can just remove yourself, take a step back, not be part of everything. And I think if you engage in that, right, like I think we want the demands that are put on all of us to be the best parent, the best employer, the best of the best. You name all of those things. Take a step back. You don't have to do those things. You can be okay with who you are at this given moment. And if something is tickling your fancy, well, yeah, go nuts, right? Like have fun. But as soon as it doesn't click for you, so what? Right? Like it doesn't, not going to matter that much. Um, I think about these my wife and I have this conversation a lot about um, people that are doing things like travel sports teams where, yeah, if they're having a great time and if it's fun and everybody's enjoying it, that's great. But often, it puts a great deal of stress, puts a great deal of pressure. Often you don't have the money to do all these kind of things. And then you're setting up to go do these things. You're sort of pushing towards these things. And realistically, it's not going to amount to much, right? It's not. Most people, almost instantly, very early on, that your kid is just not there at that skill level. And yeah, you can work at it, and do all those things and develop. But at the same time, you have to sort of be okay at any given moment with who you are. And if it's making you feel super anxious or it's not making you feel good, take a step back. It's okay. You don't have to have a passion. You don't have to have any of those things. Just take a step back and figure it out. I think if you don't have something, life is going to figure something out for you anyways. It kind of naturally does. You kind of, as long as you're busy, that's what I'm saying. That's the key thing, is to keep busy. If you're sitting there and, doing things that, where you just don't feel like you're engaged, you're kind of checked out, that's one story. But another story is, yeah, you're just keeping busy and doing things, puttering around. Even if it's playing video games all day, well, hell, you could turn that into something, right? Like, it just somehow almost always works out if you don't take yourself so seriously and you still do it. You know, getting there huffy puffy and focusing on one thing to get there huffy puffy, that's one great thing. But you can also get there if you take a step back just a bit and take that pressure off yourself and other people and still be just as fine, and you'll still get there exactly where you're going. All right, take care and have a wonderful day.